Good morning, everybody. This is Cris V out in Hawaii doing your London Open analysis for Tuesday, April 23rd. So this is the beginning of the week, and I want to show you a couple things that I like to look at the beginning of the week besides the morning call analysis. So something that is very, very helpful to read before you go to the morning call, and I'll show you how to get to it. So you go to your zerohedge.talking-forex.com. If you go to research, there is a document called the Weekly FX Outlook that is very, very helpful to review. It gives you a full recap of the week and really gives you some color as to what's coming up of the week ahead. So I went ahead and went through that, and really it kind of recaps everything that we've been looking at throughout the week. But still, once again, very, very good analysis on kind of where the G7 currencies are. So looking ahead, we're at our morning call, and it's important, as you're going through your daily analysis to find out which pairs to trade, that you're methodical, and that's really how I try to treat every morning here. Is I try to go through things in the same way to make sure that my trades and how I enter, it's very, very repeatable, it's methodical, and there's fixed risk. So the analysis is the most important part, because this gives you which pairs to trade. So looking at the bullets at the top, Asian equity markets traded mixed. The sentiment somewhat deteriorated from the mostly positive close in the U.S. Nothing I can use there. UK Conservative Party activists are to hold an emergency summit for a vote of no confidence in Prime Minister May. Now, that's something that could be of interest to us. Oil prices extended their gains following the U.S. announcement to end Iranian oil sanction waivers in an effort to push Iran oil imports to zero. That's another thing that we could possibly use. It talks about what's looking ahead, and then some earnings and equities, which could push a risk-on or risk-off environment. So going down to the FX section, slightly firmer greenback overnight. Euro was on the back foot from the PPIs, and we traded that, and I'll kind of recap that Euro CAD trade that we took on Friday morning. There's large option expiry of 1.9 billion for today's New York cut, so keep an eye on that. That could hinder the euro from going lower, because that's a ton on options. The pound braced itself for the resumption of Parliament, and amid reports is to meet Prime Minister May this week to set a timeline for her departure. So that kind of talks about the bullet we talked about earlier. Yen slipped, began to pick up the Easter lull. Ongoing consensus for RBA policy, but that's old news. Oil price surge. So they mentioned oil price surge and what's going on with Iran a couple times on this report. So let's go to our market sentiment map just to see what we have here. So you generally don't want to trade any type of sentiment if it's more than a couple days old. I don't really count the weekends because it was off market hours. So the Euro PPI is still very much in play, in my opinion. The pound, however, is going to go to neutral because we had good retail sales numbers. You know what? I'm actually going to go bearish on this. I mean, with Brexit, that really is dominating the pound right now. So political. So this political uncertainty with Prime Minister May, it's already driven the pound lower. So that's something we want to look at. And to me, it's worth a possible trade. So obviously we need to fix this and change the color here. Oh. Don't know what's going on with the color. We'll change that after. All right, but I have the pound as bearish right now. The Swissy is still neutral, no significant data. The yen's neutral. Risk-off environment slightly. There's no new data there. The pound not the pound. The CAD is bullish with the trade balance beat and inflation numbers. Iran import cut announcement from the U.S. today. So that is new information. So this would be probably our, most reliable pair to trade right now. The Aussie, better than expected jobs data, hike in unemployment rate. So I'm neutral on this one. I'm not bullish. And as the start of the market opened up, there's a slightly risk-off feel to it. So really the only pairs that I'm interested are possibly getting on the Euro CAD again on a short, and even the Euro pound. So let's take a look at the charts and see what we have here. We'll fix this color later on. Okay, so Euro CAD. So from Friday's trade, so we traded this retracement and we got in right at 150.92, so right at this level here. So this was at the wick at the very, very top. I added in multiple positions. I was not interested in carrying this over the weekend with the political uncertainty with Iran coming up, and just a ton can happen over the weekend. It was especially a long holiday weekend. So I got out at about here. It's about the 33 level, so I didn't wait for it to get all the way down to here. So we took a good, nice gain. It was, I think, a 1.2% gain compared to the initial risk of 0.5%. So looking at this, it's kind of chop right now, so not a really tradable move. So let's take a look at the pound CAD and see if we have anything there. So it's near the bottom of the move. One thing I really like to put on these charts is to see the period separators, because that gives me an idea of how many days old this move is. So interestingly, today the pound actually moved up a little bit against the CAD. So if we take this move here, it's already past the 38% fib. Now let's take a look at the daily just to see where we're at. So this level looks pretty well supported right here, and I think it's going to take a lot to break. So based on the political uncertainty bearishness with the pound, I'm not really interested in trading this right now. Maybe, let's see what the total move was here just to see what we're looking at. It was a 92 pip move, so decent. Yeah, I mean, there's a mild level of support that became resistance, and you can see from this wick right here on the 1 hour chart that it did run into that. So there were some sell orders right here. The question is, are there enough sell orders to push this thing down? And at this point, I'm not really liking the 38% fib, especially on the pound, because the pound tends to be more volatile. I like more of the 50 or even the 61. And at the 61 fib, it's already broken this support become resistance level. So there's not a big level here with a lot of orders to really give us a downward move. So I'm going to wait and see what happens here. I'm mildly interested, but not going to enter a trade right now. So let's see how this thing reacts, and let's see what comes up here in the London session. EuroCAD, I'm not interested at all. As you can see, it's kind of chopping like a bouncy ball, so not a heck of a lot going on over there. So no trades today, guys. Maybe later in the session with pound CAD. Let's see if there's any new developments, but at this point, I'm going to hold off. So that's all I had for you guys. I'll be available in Skype if you have any questions. And if you want to trade that pound CAD move, just I would suggest going with a real small position and test the waters and see what it does at that level. And if it goes past that that support become resistance level, just get out of it. So juice not worth the squeeze there. All right. Hey, thanks, guys. Have a great day.